it feels to me like Jonathan Gannon looks at this and goes, I'm 12 games under 500 in Arizona as a head coach. I got to try and get this thing turned around or else I'm going to be out of a job, and I'd rather trust my future in the hands with Jacoby Brissett than I would with Kyler Murray at this point.
In all seriousness, he's got to start winning some games. I mean, if you're the ownership in Arizona, if you're the Bidwell family, like, what are you waiting on? I mean, you gave Cliff Kingsbury, it was a 3 years, into 4 years? And like everything in the first 3 years was going in the direction you wanted it to. And then in year 4, they had some injuries. It was a D-Hop. Remember, he couldn't play the first 6 games of that season. And they wanted to move in a different direction. And you hired Jonathan Gannon and you moved on from Kingsbury, who's a bright, young offensive mind, a guy who continues to get head coaching interviews and opportunities potentially. But you bring in someone else who hasn't even been get you anywhere close to that. So I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting move from the front office in general because you signed him to the big second contract and now you're just moving on. And I told you guys weeks ago, one of the teams I talked to said, yeah, we were hoping it wasn't going to be Jacoby. It was going to be Kyler Murray. We feel like it's easier to game plan against him, which again, I was like, oh, wow, that's surprising. I feel like Kyler's mobility and everything else, they're like, no, if you keep him in the pocket, he can't see. I was like, oh, that's pretty obvious, I guess.
Dang.
I mean, it's just the reality of what I was being told. It's like, collapse the pocket around him, keep him in. You don't let him out. He has a hard time throwing over the middle. They basically just have to, lock down on the outside, and it's a wrap.
Kyler Murray is not on the level of a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes or a Lamar Jackson. So when you're talking about his escapability and what that creates for your chances of success as a team, I would say it's safe to say that it's really your only real shot at having a high level of success on offense and being able to win games is based upon his ability to scramble, buy time to throw the ball or run. And so if that's the only thing you bring to the table of real significance and value, then I think that becomes more of, in some cases, it becomes more of a liability if you don't evolve your game to be able to do more on a more consistent basis.